electronics, you learn leadership as you go,
Yeah.
but you need all those other variables.
Yeah.
And financials is a very important variable if you want to run a company.
Oh, yeah. Don't overlook that one.
Move on. I always try to promote people to move on and learn more for themselves and do better for themselves.
Yeah.
But I'm happy to be a part of their. Yeah. Some people say you shouldn't treat people like family, but I can't help it.
Yeah.
My employees are my family.
Yeah.
Because I think nowadays we expect so much from people.
Yeah.
You can't treat them like they're not family.
Yeah. I'm happy actually you mentioned, with the family, because it's I've seen it all over, right? Where saying it is a family, and then others like, no, you're never family because you don't need them anymore, right? You're like, you let them go. You will never do that. It was a family member, right?
You would. It just seems like the generation change has happened, and so you have to stay educated and in tune on what makes those generations click. So right now I have 4 different generations working with me.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting how you strategize and communicate with those different generations and still make a nice fluid business to where everything's running good.
Yeah. What if you could learn real leadership strategies from the people actually shaping the future of electronics, supply chain, and manufacturing? Welcome to Leadership in Manufacturing Podcast. We are shaping the next generation of industry leaders. Each episode delivers excellent insights and people-first strategies from executives, innovators, and change makers who know what it takes to adapt, motivate, and lead forward. And according to McKinsey, companies that invest in leadership and skill development are 1.5 times more likely to maintain high performance. And that's the power of leadership done right. And that's what this show is about. I'm your host, Sanne Winding. I'm a strategic leader with over 20 years of experience in B2B marketing, product development, and helping people grow into confident, capable leaders. And you will hear practical lessons, honest conversation, real-world tools of today's leaders that are using to communicate better, building stronger teams, and also to drive sustainable growth. So follow the show, subscribe, join me on YouTube, or check out the website. Just search for Leadership in Manufacturing. And there's no fluff here. This is insight, inspiration, what you need to grow as a leader, and it's from the real people. So take it for a spin. Let's jump into today's episode. We're talking about what it really takes to lead people, not just processes. You will learn how to bring different generations together so they work as one team, and why clear communication and consistent feedback matter more than ever, and how people-first culture keeps everyone motivated and moving in the same direction. Our guest today is Matt Cordell. He's the general manager at Civilux North America, a company known for its precision connectors, wire harness, and component use across electronics, communication, and computer industries. And with more than 40 years of leadership experience in OEM, distribution, and rep organization, Matt has seen the industry change from fax machines to AI, and he's led teams through every step of that journey. Enjoy the episode. Today, I want to welcome Matt Cordell. So Matt, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah. So I always want to ask, right, when I have a new guest on, and I have a new guest every 2 weeks, but I want to ask and saying, what's your passion for the industry? So tell me more about this.
Passion for the industry is kind of developed over time.
Yeah.
I've been in the business for about 44 years and have kind of started off in manufacturing, OEM, and then went to a distributor, and then went to work for a rep, and then so kind of sat on all 3 sides of the desk, and love learning.
Yeah.
I love the technology and the changing of the technology with the future. I can't believe when you go back to probably the late 80s, all of a sudden you look at all the introduction of all the new technology, the fax machine and all that stuff. And so it just keeps you in tune because you're like, okay, what's next?
Yeah.
What's next? I mean, now we're in AI. I mean, where does it stop? It's just, It's pretty interesting to stay in there and just see all these products being developed in our market. It's awesome.
It is. I think just with the whole all the websites, right? When we had the internet, when that boomed, right? And now we have the AI. I think you can compare and saying back then, right? You were like, okay, what's going to happen? And it created so many jobs. Let's just do that, right?
Yeah.
And I think with the AI, if you look at that right now, you can be scared about your job and saying, oh, right, will I just be replaced? But I think the AI will actually open up so much more again in creating new jobs. But we are still maybe like waving a little bit here, right?
Exactly.
Be, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's like the new technology of databases and stuff. You know, I remember when Excel came, Microsoft had Excel. We're like, wow, all right, we got a database we can start. You know, and instead of doing the DOS stuff, and now we go to Windows, and it's so great. Now look, you're just going to speak into something and do AI. It's just, and all the CEOs, I mean, even our company is putting money into the AI. So you're going to see it. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, we have to lean into it. If you don't lean into it, you will be left behind and be a dinosaur.
Yeah.
So
I gotcha.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, let's talk about you, because I know you built and you turned around different several businesses, right, in the electronics through your career.
Yeah.
And I want to hear about leadership skills here, because what do you see as the most important quality when you have to do this kind of change from like survival or to growth for a company?
Yeah. My specialty basically is growth and startup new businesses, things like that. And it's a lot different today than it was 40 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, 40 years ago, I was kind of learning the business, putting my foot in the water, seeing how the temperature is, if I liked it.
Yeah.
And I decided I liked it. And I jumped into it. And I think the key was just learning a lot of stuff, going to training and get to know stuff and become a leader. I think everybody has their own style.
Yeah.
You can't really, what you can do is how I think I try to stay the best way to improve yourself is take a style or something that you like from each individual that you really use as a mentor or you like them, and then build your own style, your own personality. And I think if you go back, like I was starting, it's changed a lot. I think we have a lot of different generations, especially, you know, me, I'm in my 60s now. So, you know, I was born in the 60s. So it just seems like the generation change is happened. And so you have to stay educated and tuned on what makes those generations click. So right now I have, you know, 4 different generations working with me.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting how you strategize and communicate with those different generations and still make a nice fluid business to where everything's running good.
Yeah.
You know.
So
it's things you have to learn.
How do you communicate with these kind of different generations?
It's different. Like some of them like text.
Yeah.
You know, and some of them like something else, WhatsApp, or somebody likes to talk. You know, I'm kind of old school. I like to pick up the phone and do that rather than have 3 or 4 emails back and forth, you know, or text messages. So, but if they like it, and you know, all we have to do really is just put down our goals and objectives. You know, what do we want to do? We have all these different people with different generations, different personalities. All we can say is this is what we want. So we operate as a team to go and try to put players with their strengths in the right place and get the ball in the goal. And I think you got to be able to adapt to that right now to be a good leader and a fluid leader for every generation right now.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah.
That I'm finding out as I get older.
I think the whole way of communicating, right? Because there's so many different platforms, and to keep up with them as well.
Yeah.
It's more for on the friend side, right? I use Snap or Snapchat or whatever you.
Yeah.
And it kept giving me like, oh, you should be friend with this person, that person.
Yeah.
I'm like, I do not. I'm like, I have my little group. So finally I went in my settings and I was like, do not suggest anybody.
Yeah, there you go. And I know Teams, for example, in Teams, or on email, when you're in Outlook, you can do a little Teams on the side.
Yeah.
It's almost like an instant message somebody. Yeah. So I know we use it internally, and I think we use it with some of our customers, but I see that becoming more popular too.
And then you just need, and you can actually, I think you can sign in and out as well, right?
Because it's a format that everybody basically is on. I mean, who's not on Microsoft Outlook?
Yeah.
You know?
No, that's awesome. That's awesome.
I think they shut AOL down.
They they should, right? That's like a whole generation of what's your email? No.
Yeah, and the modems.
Oh, but the sound. No.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So, what are some of the lessons you have learned now that you have built all these,
Oh, wow.
different teams, right, with all
Yep.
these different organizations?
Yeah.
You have to pick a few things. What would you highlight?
I think the one thing you have to do when you're starting and you're going to do a startup or start an organization, you have to really do a deep dive into it. You got to find out why this customer exists or why do they want to start a new business, and what's the competition, what's your differentiating factors, what makes you different than customer or supplier A, B, and C.
Yeah.
Are you the same? So that, I mean, if you're the same, that's going to be a long haul to try to get up there, because all you're doing is now you're entering the market with lower margins
Yeah.
that you're not profitable for.
Yeah.
And so nowadays you either got to be a niche player,
Yeah.
or you have to be up into the generalists. And the generalists in every market are already kind of set, right? So you look at airlines, it's American, Delta, and United,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And the rest are all kind of nichey.
Yeah.
Southwest, they have their niche, they fly into non. So it's the same way with electronics. You could see distribution would be, Avnet, Future, Arrow, or whatever, for example.
Yeah.
Mauser kind of. So everybody's separated into these different organizations. So you got to figure out what you fit in and how you want to market yourself, and if there's even a market there.
Yeah.
But you have to differentiate yourself from all these other
Yeah.
people in that business. I mean, for me, I sell connectors.
Yeah.
Well, there's tons of connector suppliers.
Yeah. You're not the only one.
Yeah, so I have to differentiate myself. So what?
Yeah.
Why would people want to come buy my connectors?
Yeah.
So I think when you're looking at a business, you have to do that. You have to have a story to tell. You have to, be able to show why you're doing what you're doing and how you're doing it, and be passionate about it, and be ready for a long haul. You're not just going to go and knock on a door and get an instant order from somebody.
No.
It's going to be, multiple times that you're going to be asked, so they want to make sure you're going to be around.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I don't know if that answers everything, but
no, it does.
really,
It does. I think it's also
Yeah.
like, if you look at the sales, right? It's also building that relationship, right, with your customers. That is so
Yeah.
important.
Yeah.
And I think you can always look at yourself, right? If it's the grocery store where you go and buy, right? You have options, right? Or I do.
Yeah.
Everyone has.
Yeah.
But I'm sure you go to the one you like, right? Either it's because of how friendly they are. It can be what they're offering, right?
Yeah.
Or if they have something like a theme going on,
Exactly.
right? And then when they create a new layout, I'm totally lost. They did that,
Yeah.
right? I'm like,
Yeah.
what did you do? So keep your website, but keep it good. No,
Yeah, that's right. That's
don't
right.
change it. No,
Yeah.
so it's. I think you really have to look at that, right? But again, how do you build that good sales relationship with your customers?
I think the number one thing is you kind of hit it when you said, "Hey, we're going to this." It's like me. I go to a restaurant, right?
Yeah.
Why do we go to that restaurant? Why do you go to a store? Probably because you know the people, they know you, you like the service, the food's good.
Yeah.
So you always tend to go back. If you don't get good service, you leave. So I think you need to identify what you're going to do and understand the customer's goals and objectives.
Yeah.
That's the first thing you do when you go in. You say, "Okay, I'm with such and such, but I need to understand what your goals and objectives are on your interconnect suppliers, for example."
Yeah.
To even see if you're a fit. Why would you go in there and pitch and yell and try to sell something that's not a good fit? It's a waste of time. So I think you really need to identify the customer's goals and objectives of what they're doing, and ensure that you have a solution for them that would be a good fit. But you have it, because I mean, restaurants, like you said, stores, you go there and you expect certain things. That's why you keep going there.
Right. Yeah.
And if something's wrong, people tend to complain about it. But if it's good, you don't sit there and say, "Hey, that's really good. Thanks. Well, I appreciate that."
Yeah.
I don't know. We're backwards on that, but I like to do that when I like to call a manager over and say, "Hey, this is a great service. This person is wonderful. You should do whatever you have to do to keep them," and so on.
Yeah.
But I think you just got to understand what the customer is trying to finalize, and their goals and objectives, what they want.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And again, right, just to say, remember to give that kind of feedback when you have something happening, right? Because it's actually going to, everybody's going to be even more happy, right? Or that growth, or actually can celebrate that as well, because we can all complain, right? And I think, we always have something we can complain about.
You wake up in the morning, you don't say, "Oh, it's a great day, let's go." You're like, "Oh, just give me 5 more minutes."
Yeah, right. And then snooze a little bit more. No.
Yeah.
So, okay, I wanna talk a little bit about then leadership and how do you know, right, if you are a good leader? So if you have to look at yourself, what do you, how will you, not put you in a box or anything else?
Yeah.
But how do you look at yourself and saying, am I a good leader?
Yeah, interesting. That's a question that you just got to see how the measurement's done, right? And so when you want to measure it, I haven't had any turnover, so I guess that's one measurement, right? So that seems to be pretty good. And the other thing is, I think you need to keep up on education and trying to adapt to all the new leadership management styles and things like that, and find out which one's a good fit for you and what's not a good fit.
Yeah.
So you notice I always talk about a good fit and what's not. I guess I've been doing a lot. I don't want to waste my time in something if it's not a good fit.
Yeah.
So I always try to make our internal, I call them internal customers. They're our people, but I got to treat them like an internal customer also.
Yeah.
We have external, but we have internal customers.
Yeah.
So I have to learn more about them and train them and make sure we're all working as a team. Like I said earlier, this person's doing this, okay, and this person's doing that.
Yeah.
And so I think my leadership is just adapting to what they need or what they want to see or what they want to feel. And, they're all important to the company and what we're trying to do. So I make sure that they understand that. If we do really good or we close a nice order, we'll celebrate on that.
Yeah.
And buying them different stuff, some gifts through the year that they don't even expect, but hey, you did a great job. Here's a gift card for something,
Yeah. Yeah.
So not a $10 Starbucks card, but I mean something bigger that's more,
bigger.
Yeah. That makes an impact.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's also good with the coffee.
Yeah.
But it's also good to get that bigger impact. So, but then if it's a good fit or something like that. So if you look at who you learned from, right? And you can look at your whole career, So what stands out where you're saying, that one there is something I actually put in my little, my backpack, right? I'm using that for the next many, 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 many years.
Yeah. Yep. It's strange because working for a manufacturer, working for a distributor, working for a rep, I have all three of those backgrounds that I've learned. And you're right. I took information and stuff I like from different bosses and leaders that I had to build my own. And you can never be a great leader, just come out and say, "Oh, that guy's a perfect leader." It's a learned practice, and different people learn different ways. But it's definitely, you're going to get some lumps and stuff while you're going. And I think you just have to be open to constructive criticism.
Yeah.
And find out what you need to do to make things happen. But my background has given me a lot of stuff. When I was in the service is when it started. I was in the Navy and I worked on F-14s in avionics and electronics, and there's a lot of strict requirements and things like that there. So you kind of learn that stuff and the processes, and it just builds. And then you go to work for a manufacturer, build avionics test equipment, and then a distributor, and now you're getting into logistics. And I had one boss that ran a company, but his background was really an accountant.
Yeah.
So I learned so much about finances on a company, that what makes a good profit, what makes a bad profit, turns. I learned it was like I went to college for accounting. This guy just sat down with me and taught me everything for 14 years. I ran his company for him, and he was the finance guy, so he helped me learn all that stuff. And I'd say that's probably the number one place that I got so much knowledge, because electronics, you learn leadership as you go.
Yeah.
But you need all those other variables.
Yeah.
And financials is a very important variable if you want to run a company.
Oh yeah. don't overlook that one.
So I think I was very lucky, and I didn't know it.
Yeah.
I think I was 25 at the time when I went to work for them, or 23,
Yeah.
and just stayed there for as long as I could and learned a lot. So it was
That's
great.
awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. So that's connected to the next one I want to ask you, the next question here, because it's like,
Yeah.
so how has your leadership style then evolved, right? Because that one was a really good example of saying how you got educated in that segment
Yeah.
there, right?
Yep.
And got the whole finance and yeah.
Yep.
So what else has evolved over the last couple of years? Or many?
So I think another thing is, and probably just before COVID, it was pretty obvious, the social networking. It's even more now.
Yeah.
However, you know, when you've been around a long time, and you've been around for a few years too yourself, we won't go into how long, but we have a nice social network, right?
Yeah.
So if you get an opportunity where you can reach out to your network on different things and
Yeah.
ask them for their input, almost like free consulting, right? You
Yeah.
ask them for their input to do different stuff, and you kind of can get all this constructive criticism and take what you like, what you don't like, what you want to try, and things like that. And I think your social networking is a good resource for a lot of try this, try that. Maybe this will help if you
Yeah.
do it this way, or this is the way I do it. You may want to try this or something like that. And I think that's another place we can get another resource. We can get a lot of different leadership skills, and based on other people's experiences.
Yeah.
Is what I'm getting at.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's also learning, right? Now, if we have before COVID and after, right? There's so many new, and we already touched on it with all different platforms, right?
Yeah.
How do you keep updated and stay connected, right? Because
Yeah.
I don't answer the phone if there's a phone number that's not in my phone. I'm not like,
Right.
who's that, right? But if
Right.
they keep calling, I'm like, okay, maybe I should answer. But
Yeah.
I think some of the cold calling have learned that as well, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So
sure.
it's emails, right? It can be LinkedIn, right? Or if you even personal, you can actually text each other, right? So there's so many different levels where you still have to, stay on top and remember what's going on, right?
Yeah.
That person's, in that person's life.
Yeah. It's a whole different world now than when I was, back in the early '80s when I started in '81. It's a lot different today. And I'm glad that I was here to be able to see all the different changes. It's really interesting.
Quick pause. If you're enjoying the conversation and picking up new leadership tips, go hit that follow button. Please, just one click. And if you want more, come hang out with us on YouTube. There's a lot more leadership tips. Just search for Leadership in Manufacturing. Back to the show. Yeah, and it keep evolving, right?
Yeah.
And back to what we talked about with AI, I think we're just dipping our toe right now.
Yes.
And further, right? Machine learning has been there for many years, so it's not that it's new, but the whole AI and how it's impacting electronics and manufacturing.
Yeah.
We need to learn, and we need to lean into it.
Correct. Yeah, I think that that's part of the leadership is making sure you grab the right technology when you can.
Yeah.
Let the bugs get worked out of it, of course, but grab it, collect it while you can, and start seeing if you can utilize that. And that's something we're trying to do in here.
Yeah.
It really helps. Starting some AI I call them AI queries.
Yeah.
Right. It's not 100%, but it does get you to some areas that you really are good, especially when it comes to data.
Yeah.
Like where was this part sold, a year ago or whatever. And if you give it the right data, it can go and find that type of stuff. It's really, really good. So
yeah.
I'm excited about it. I mean, I don't know how many more years I got, but I'm excited about finalizing, finishing out, and hopefully along the way that I've left my footprint, or with some of the people that I've helped learn. Nobody's going to stay with you forever, because once they learn what you do, then you got two of you. They're going to move. They're going to move on. I always try to promote people to move on and learn more for themselves and do better for themselves. But I'm happy to be a part of their. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
So I was going to ask you, but I think you already had that. You mentioned it, because I was going to ask you, what was the latest skill you've learned, right? But I think talking about AI
is, and I'm nowhere close to some of these other generation people. Like we got, John just turned 30 or whatever, and he's up on that stuff. And then,
Yeah.
we got another lady that her husband is a programmer for Microsoft. And so she's, so it's just these little things that we got going for us, different generations.
Yeah.
So, it's really interesting to see the level of not just interest, but the level of already having knowledge of what
Yeah.
can be done with some of
Yeah.
this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. And it goes so fast, right? I think with AI, if you follow anything, I love to watch different on YouTube, right? To see what's the latest and great.
Uh-huh.
It's like every 2 weeks, right? That's like, okay, now this is there, right? Or now something got embedded in, right? It's just like, it can be overwhelming as well.
Yeah.
So, but it's really, you have to be a part of it.
Yeah.
I think that's the only way. So I'm so happy to hear that you guys actually are part of it.
Yeah.
And
I think a lot of people are getting too far into it. I don't want the discussion to turn to AI, but I think a lot of people are getting too far into it, and they're investing a lot of money, and they don't really know all the limitations yet. They just think it's going to do everything. So we'll see. I like to sit back and wait for all the bugs to get worked out, and then invest into it. Yeah.
Then you're behind the wheel here. No.
Yeah, as a user.
Yeah, as a user. That's awesome. That's
not an investor.
No. So I want to talk about leadership and ask you about, because you celebrate, right? You celebrate when something's going well, right? We talked about that. That's a whole company culture. You have different generations, but you also need to give feedback at a certain time where it maybe is not the positive feedback, right? It's like a change management, or we need to look at this in a different angle, or we need to zoom out and this project. There's so many words you can use, right? So I want to hear from you what has worked well for you, because you, as a leader, right, you have to have, you are standing in that position, right? That you have to get this kind of feedback. I just want to hear, what's your, I don't know if it's the best practice, but just, what's your experience?
So, so the feedback, what I want is I always try to promote good feedback, whether it's my employees to me or me to my employee, the CEO of the company. There's different tactics, different ways to do it, but like we get together every week, every Monday, and we're all in a group and we try to do constructive feedback. Basically, that didn't work. Okay, what do you think? And it's a team effort. We all have a vote into stuff of what works, what doesn't work, things like that. So I think that is good. And then, of course, as a leader, when you see something that doesn't look right, maybe somebody's not having a good day. No smiles, which is kind of an indicator. If nobody comes into the office and they're not smiling, and something's an issue. So I always like to try to grab those people and just find out, what's wrong, what can I do to help? Is there anything I can do? Things like that. So I try to, some people say you shouldn't treat people like family, but I can't help it. My employees are my family. Because I think nowadays we expect so much from people. You can't treat them like they're not family. Otherwise, you're going to get the results of a non-family. They're going to work from 8 to 5 or whatever it is, and then that's it. And a lot of times you can't do that these days because people are on different parts of the globe. They need answers. So sometimes it's requested that they work after hours, or help communicate through WhatsApp or something. And I don't think we can do that if we're not acting as a team and asking for constructive feedback and making sure that we understand what they want to know and getting the right answers for everybody so they can keep on going.
I'm happy actually you mentioned, with the family, because it's I've seen it all over, right? Where saying it is a family, and then others like, no, you're never family, because if you don't need them anymore, right? You're like, you let them go. You will never do that. It was a family member, right? You have
you would.
Right. So, but it's I think it's also just like, it's like there's an interest, right? There's a respect. There's something more deeper, right? And that's I think, and that's the company culture, right? And that's what you're describing. That your company culture is what you call a family, right? That's your word on it. But I'm pretty sure other organization will maybe just say, "Oh, that's our company culture of how we communicate and everything else," there, right? But I do like when you say it's a family, and I do think work is such many hours of the day, and it also makes you who you are, right?
Well, you're spending just as much time with your office
Yeah.
as you do with your family. Remember, when you go home to be with your family,
Yeah.
part of that you're going to be sleeping. So
Yeah.
your time awake is almost as much time as you are at your office
Yeah.
with your employees.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how could you not? How
Yeah.
could it not be like a family?
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah,
question.
it's almost
Yeah.
like with your spouse, right, or your partner, right? You have like a
Yeah.
whole work chart of their work, right? To saying, okay, who is it, right? How is it that it looks?
Yeah.
So you understand who's who. But
Yeah. Yeah.
no, but I think it's important, and I really like that. I'm hearing for you what you have, what you have,
Yeah.
with your company culture or that family
Yeah.
culture that
Yeah.
you're talking about,
Yeah.
because it's so important. And that also lead into that if anybody also can feel that they've been appreciated,
Yeah.
and have a voice at that table, right? Because
Yeah.
these meetings every week, that's a really good
Yeah.
foundation.
They want to know that you got their back.
Yeah,
That's it sounds stupid, but that's kind of an important part
yeah,
of working with a team.
yeah,
If a team member's out there and they don't think that you got their back and they're
yeah.
always it's not a full productive team
No,
at that point.
yeah.
So they got to have that feeling that you're going to protect them and do whatever it takes to have their back,
I like
you
that.
know.
I
Yeah.
really like that. Okay, two more questions. So I have
Yeah.
one. So if there's somebody young talent that comes into the industry, even if it's your company or just within the industry,
Yeah.
what kind of advice would you give them?
Oh,
Yeah, I know.
yeah, that's a good one. I think basically find out what type of things they like to do and then help explain with them those. So based on what you said, this is how you can relate that to the electronics market, for example, or whatever they
Yeah,
want to get into the market. And well, this looks like a good fit for sales. If you did this type of stuff, and so you got communication degree or something. I think that you don't want to ever tell somebody they can't do anything.
no.
That's number one rule. Um, they might need some help. They may need some guidance. They may need some tools and resources.
Yeah,
But if they have that passion, that desire to do that, then that's what they should do. And sometimes it just takes education.
yeah,
I'm talking to a young lady now that we have a rec for an opening. They want to come work, and she's worked at Microsoft and all these other places, but they're big companies, and
yeah,
you're a number. If you call in and say, "Hey, will my insurance cover this?" They go, "Well, what's your employee number?"
yeah,
They don't know you as a number, and so,
yeah,
or we we're small enough that we do all this stuff, and I think that she's young. She's done a couple things, but I think that if she comes in here, like I told her, I said, sit here and do do an inside sales job for a while. If you like it, on and grow. If you don't, you learned a different skill set,
yeah,
and now go back to where you want to.
yeah,
Maybe this isn't a good fit for you, but I think you got to have support the younger generation when they want to try to do something um,
yeah,
to help them.
yeah,
Because it's scary.
yeah,
It's scary. You
yeah.
get out, and then all of a sudden you don't have no more school to go to. You don't have any more parents that are going to take care of you. Now you're on your own.
Like,
You better have a good idea of what you want to do. So,
don't serve coffee, no.
yeah, a barista.
Yeah, no, yeah, no, and I think that's really good, right? But it's also like, because if you don't try, right? I always see like stepping stones. If I look at my career, it's been different stepping stones. And
Yeah,
yeah, I've learned something where I'm like, yeah, I'm happy I'm not there anymore, right? But
yeah,
I learned a lot of skills by doing this, having that
yeah,
position.
yeah,
And it also opens up other doors, I think.
yeah. See, the stuff when you talked about the stepping stones, it kind of reminds me during the COVID. So right during the COVID, and a couple years after it, what you saw a mass exodus because the economy was flat, nothing was growing, but people needed to make more money.
Yeah,
And so you could jump to another job, same position, but you're going to get 10% more, right? So
yeah,
now you're just staying ahead of that economic curve, by making jumps. But I think it's kind of died out now. You don't see it as often. So I'm
yeah,
hoping that people will stay where they're at, knowing that it's the same industry, and hopefully manufacturers and businesses will understand that go ahead and pay that person what they're worth. If they want another 2,000, 5,000, whatever it is, because just think of the other side.
Yeah.
Now you got to go try to find somebody. Now you got to go try to train them.
The
Now,
onboarding is just.
Is it worth that? I doubt it.
No. Not if you have a top, top employee sitting there.
Yeah, if they're in the bottom 10%, then you probably don't. You're probably looking at turning them over. But if it's somebody that really helps the company, and and we were talking about a new person coming in, and I think that you just need to try to hold on to them, especially if they're good, and just keep them going and help educate them.
Yeah.
If they want training, you should educate them.
Yeah.
Train them on Excel or the ERP system or whatever it takes.
And there's so many ways, right? I think now how you can get educated. Right? It's either you have it internal, right? Or there's so many options on YouTube or on LinkedIn Learning as well, even though you have a subscription.
LinkedIn is great. And your emails, just look at your emails. I get training sessions all the time. I guess because we sign up for them, but they're good. They're good.
Yeah. So it's so keep learning, right? I think that's also the mindset.
Oh yeah, I'm still learning. So
and we should
try to keep a closed mind.
Yeah, you never stop learning, but it's a mindset. I think that you have to have and lean into, right? As well with the AI. Okay, Matt, last question, right?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
If you looked at yourself, right, and said, okay, let me look maybe 15 years ago.
Yeah.
What kind of advice would you give yourself if you have to look back?
Start my own business.
Yeah.
That's probably what I would have done. It sounds strange, but even before 15 years ago, all I was doing was taking companies that were going out of business, saved them, turned them around, and made them profitable, and they went out and could continue on in the business. And I think when you hit a point like that you're comfortable, you can do it, you should just go ahead and do it. And I was gun shy.
Yeah.
All the time. I was going, oh man, it's a lot of money to start something, do something. And what if it crashes? What if I don't? And everything I've done has been successful. So not trying to brag or anything, but one thing I wish I would have done is started something to work for myself. This is really the closest I have right now, because I work for the CEO. He's in Taiwan. North America basically is my territory. Nobody messes with us, but so this is the closest thing I got. But I would love to done something that I'm my own boss on. Yeah.
But you did amazing, right? Now, so just listen.
Yeah, no, I'm glad that 15 years ago, I'm glad that I stayed in the market.
Yeah.
Instead of starting over, because I do have a lot of knowledge in this market.
Yeah.
So I think that's helped me quite a bit. But yeah, I would probably 15 years ago, I probably would have done nothing except what I'm doing now. Just keep advancing, and this is the closest thing to running my own business right now, and I like it.
And that's the most important as well, right?
Yeah,
you like it and you're proud of it, and that's what I'm hearing from you.
Yeah.
So
that's
amazing.
And it's so exciting. Period when you start something. You start like a company's failing, or you start from scratch, and all of a sudden you look back. I think we're 8 years, and you're doing really good. You start off with $0, and now you have almost 100 sales reps through North America, and all the nice distributors are selling for you and things like that. It's kind of sometimes you think, God, stuff's not happened quick enough. But if you just sit down and look back 15 years ago and see where you were back then to now, it's a great comparison. Yeah. So that's a good one. 15 years ago today.
That's
a good one.
In a split second. No.
Yeah.
It feels sometimes like that.
Yeah. So, it does.
Yeah.
It does, because your kids are growing up. You've seen all that stuff happen. You've seen the changes in the industry. It's just a very interesting market.
It is. So thank you so much, Matt. Thank you for sharing all your insights here and your learnings. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Popped my earbuds out, so.
Oh.
I couldn't hear you there.
Oh, I just said thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks again for listening to this episode. I appreciate so much that you're here. And we are doing so awesome on YouTube. We have over 150,000 views. So be sure to follow us on YouTube, on the YouTube channel called Leadership Manufacturing. And of course, you should sign up for the newsletters as well, right? Because you want to stay in the loop when we have a new episode that comes out or when we actually are sharing some leadership tips. So again, go to leadershipmanufacturing.com, sign up today. And thank you so much for staying and listening to everything, the full episode. And remember, stay curious, keep learning. See you next time.